Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this evening's SACBC 2021 Virtual Obon. We really appreciate all of you tuning in, so to speak, to our Obon this year. My name is Reverend Miyaji, and I will be your MC this evening. Before we start our program, I had a couple of announcements to make. First, I would like to thank all of those who purchased bentos during our bento fundraiser. Really appreciate your purchase of bentos this year, particularly since we haven't been able to have Obon this year or this past year. So fundraisers like this are really important for the church. Second, I would like to thank those who purchased our SACBC 2021 Obon gear, which includes two items, tenugui and a shirt. And we've got a model here to show you our tenugui. They're very cute. So we've got one with flowers, and we've got one with other designs on it. Can you hold a little bit higher? A little bit higher? Kidding. You can hold it lower. And we also have our SACBC 2021 Obon shirts with the same very cute picture on the back. With respect to the tenuguis, we're actually sold out of the tenuguis. But if you haven't had a chance to purchase our t-shirts, we do have a few t-shirts left. And I believe, though, we're limited to, what are we limited to? Men's and women's?
Yes.
Okay.
Medium and large.
Okay, so we're limited to men's and women's t-shirts, medium and large. So if you'd like to purchase a 2021 SACBC Obon t-shirt, please call the church office and they can get you connected. I would also like to again, really thank all of you for tuning in tonight. It's really good that we're able to have events like these virtually, particularly given these days with COVID. We've also been very fortunate to be able to live stream our services on Sunday, which I think as a temple member is really important for us as a church to kind of keep our Sangha community together. My understanding as well is that AA, basketball, and Boy Scouts have begun to meet in person, which is great. And I understand that other organizations as well have also been meeting virtually and otherwise. So I'm really happy that we as a Sangha have really pulled together as a community. I think that's wonderful. So with respect to tonight's program, we've got a great lineup for you tonight. So in our program today, we'll be having a message from our temple president. We'll also be having a message from our resident minister. We'll be having actually more than two demonstrations, but we'll be having a demonstration on cooking and a demonstration on how to put on a yukata. For those of you who purchased bentos this evening, you will probably have noticed in your package a little dessert cup. And if you look at that dessert cup, you'll notice that it kind of looks uncooked. And the reason being is because it is uncooked. But we'll be having a demonstration for you that'll show you how to make the lava cake in your bento dinner tonight. So stay tuned for that. And we'll also have two live Q&A sessions as well this evening. So if you have burning questions about Obon-related things, that's your time to ask your questions during either one or both of our live Q&A sessions. And then finally, of course, what would Obon be without the dancing? So we'll be having Obon dancing as well. So with that, why don't we begin our program? And I'd like to turn it over to our temple president, Ken Suyama, who will deliver a message on behalf of the temple.
Thanks, Garrett. The past year has been an unprecedented time for everyone. We haven't been able to get together for summer events like Obon, which we missed last year, so we definitely want to do something this year. So welcome to our virtual home Obon edition with not only traditional dancing, but special bentos and cooking demonstrations. As Garrett mentioned, we'll also have a special Obon Dharma message from Reverend Miyaji, as well as a cooking demonstration from him later. Obon is traditionally a time to get together and reflect on family, especially those who have passed away. Since we missed Obon last year, we would like to recognize everybody who passed away in the last 2 years. Due to the COVID situation, funeral services are greatly curtailed and many were unable to properly honor loved ones who passed. We hope that this virtual Obon will help families remember and honor them. SACBC has also had a difficult time as well as we slowly emerging from the COVID situation as it improves. Some of our booths have resumed their activity this summer under guidelines developed by our COVID task force. Your generous donations have helped us weather the COVID storm, and we ask for your continued support until things return to normal. Our plan is to resume live services on September 12th with the Zoom option. During the pandemic, our Zoom services were very well received, and the plan is to continue them in addition to live services to give you options on how you can attend services. I hope that you enjoyed your bento this evening and are ready for a home edition of our Obon. Gasho, and now back to Garrett.
Thank you, Ken. I would now like to turn the program over to our resident minister, Reverend Dr. Takashi Miyaji, who with his family came to SACBC in August 2020 from the Tacoma, Washington Buddhist Temple. And since then, despite COVID, has become a valuable member of the SACBC Temple. Reverend?
Hello, and welcome to the 2021 Virtual Obon. My name is Reverend Takashi Miyaji of the Southern Alameda County Buddhist Church here in Union City. When we think about summertime, many of us might think of barbecue in the park, hot dogs, snow cones, and soaking up the sun while we hang out with our family and friends. Well, what if you could do all of those things in one place at once? That's Obon Festival. When the first Japanese immigrants came from Japan, they brought over with them the traditions and culture of their home country. One of them was Obon Odori, and the things that come with this special occasion. Of course, Obon is not just a cultural event. It actually traces its roots that has religious significance. An ancient legend that takes place in India long ago tells of a story of a person by the name of Moggallana, a devout disciple of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Moggallana's mother passed away, and he wanted to use his meditative skills to see where his mother had gone. He did in fact find her, but he saw the agony of his mother as she suffered in one of the hells of samsaric existence. Moggallana tried to save his mother, but he was unable to. And when he tried to give her food, it would burst into flames and create further agony for her. Unable to help save his mother by relying on his own power, he asked the Buddha for his guidance. When Shakyamuni Buddha heard of the mother's story, his heart was moved to great compassion. Shakyamuni then saved Moggallana's mother. Moggallana was so overjoyed to hear that his mother was okay now that he started to dance. And all of the fellow students also began to dance in joy. Obon became an occasion for rejoicing in the enlightenment offered by the Buddha and is often referred to as Kangie, or the gathering of joy. Moggallana abandoned his self-power practice of trying to save his mother through his own strengths. Instead, he turned himself over to the guidance of the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, or the three treasures. In other words, he relied on the Buddha Dharma's working to liberate all sentient beings, such as his mother. Obon is a day of remembering and cherishing those who came before us. Their efforts and compassion for us are the reason why we are here today and can encounter the teachings of the Buddha here and now. Thus, in remembering our ancestors and reflecting on our joy and encountering the Buddha Dharma, we dance. This legendary story is said to be the start of Obon. And whether you are a Buddhist or not, the significance of this special event is to see that there is much more to this life than just this self. There are countless causes and conditions, countless people whose very lives and efforts are what make our lives here now possible. In these difficult times, such as the pandemic, the unfair treatment of certain minority groups in this country, the growing divide in the socioeconomic status between the haves and the have-nots, the growing divide in our political landscape, and climate change, It seems that all we see on the news is nothing but finger pointing and animosity towards each other. But it doesn't have to be this way. If we can reflect and recall that we are all in this together, we can see the common humanity we all have within each other. Buddhism asks us to have the audacity to be the first ones to put our guards down and see the oneness within all of us together. Obon is a time to recognize that we are part of something much greater than ourselves, a reality in which we all take part in. And this is symbolized in the circle formation of our Obon dancing. I wish you a joyous and memorable summer where we can all reaffirm our lives of interconnectivity and interdependence, grounded in the world of great compassion. Namandas, 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 namandas. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for that insightful message on the meaning of Obon. We'd now like to turn to our first food demonstration, because of course, no Obon would be complete without the food. But we're going to start off a little bit differently this year, because we're going to start with dessert. And the reason for that is because for those of you who ordered bentos from the temple, you're going to find in your package a lava cake. And this is a lava cake that you can bake at home. So follow along with the next demonstration by Nolan Mori, who will teach you how to bake that lava cake.
Thank you, Mr. Marai, and all the other people who have tuned in to watch this chocolate lava cake demonstration. And my assistant chef here, Chef Miyaji behind me, will be assisting me today in making chocolate lava cakes. What you'll need is a skewer, a spoon, a spatula, and a 4-ounce ramekin, and a double boiler. Your ingredients are 340 grams of chocolate, 152 grams of butter, 30 grams of cornstarch, 55 grams of brown sugar, 2 grams of salt, 4 whole eggs, and 6 egg yolks.
So explain to them what you're doing.
And when mixing, you want to fold it in so you don't overwork it.
How long does that take usually to melt the chocolate?
It'll usually take 8 minutes or sometimes 10. Now add your brown sugar, your cornstarch, and your salt. And when doing this, if you need to, you could turn the bowl too. And make sure you're folding. And when doing this process, you want to try and fold out all the clumps. Because the less clumps, the better it'll be. I'm going to keep mixing and mixing. Keep folding. Mixing and folding. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a spoon and your eggs. And what you're going to do, you're going to get a spoonful of your chocolate and put it into your eggs. This is tempering the eggs. So the chocolate will bring the temperature of the eggs up to the same temperature as your chocolate. What this will do, it'll make it a lot easier, because if you put the egg straight into your chocolate mix, it's going to scramble your eggs, and you're going to have chocolate scrambled eggs. So you want to put it in by spoons and then mix it. When you mix it, don't spill, because you need to make sure you have all these eggs. Then when you mix it, the eggs should start turning brown. So you want to mix it carefully, don't spill. And then if you need to, you could get more chocolate. If you think it's not enough, add more. But you don't want to put too much chocolate into the eggs. but it's now the eggs are slowly starting to come up to the same temperature. So add one more scoop of chocolate and that should be okay. So maybe 2 scoops or 3 or 4 scoops or 3 or 4 spoons of chocolate and that should be good. Now mix it. And now these eggs are up to temperature with the chocolate. Mix it one more time, or I mix it one more time to just make sure I have every lump out, because after the eggs in, it's going to be harder to mix. So now, throw your eggs in the batter. Scrape out all the chocolate, because a lot of the chocolate will be on the bottom. Mix it well. When you're folding eggs in, when you're mixing the eggs, you need to fold this. Scrape the edges of the bowl, mix it, and fold it. Mix it and fold it. Mix it a little bit, and fold it. And now, what you're gonna do is you have your ramekin right here. You have your ramekin, your buttered ramekin, your 4-ounce buttered ramekin. You're gonna do is your ladle, and you're gonna ladle it into your ramekin. You need to try and not spill here on the edges, but if you do, it's okay, because you can always go back and wipe it again. So you want to fill it just to the rim. And what you could do is tap it on the bottom of your hand and it should flatten it out very easily, but just like this, how it's flattened it out on top. And when you put this in the oven, 425 degrees for 12 to 10 minutes. But at 8 minutes, you should check, because you need to make sure it is not over. Depending on your oven, it could be longer or shorter, but everybody's oven is different at home. So do it. Check at 8 minutes, just to be sure, because you want the top to be crispy and the inside to be gooey. But check with your skewer, because when you check with your skewer, you'll know if it's gooey. Because if it's gooey, that's why it has the name chocolate lava cake. It should be gooey on the inside like a volcano. It's like when the lava comes out, it's gooey. Because you want it to be nice and smooth in the inside. And this is what it should look like. Don't worry about it bubbling on the side. It's just the butter that you have hit in on the ramekin. Don't worry, it's okay. But what you should do as a topping is you can put your favorite berry or my favorite is vanilla ice cream and strawberries or raspberries. But you could also put powdered confectioner sugar or powdered sugar. It will look nice if you do that on top. You want to not put too much, but that's a good amount. And this is your final product of your chocolate lava cake.
Thank you, Nolan. That lava cake was delicious. Oh, I've got lava cake on my face. It was good, though. So our next segment will be apparel. But before we turn to apparel, I do want to give a shout out to Lance Liu of NBC Bay Area for this beautiful hoppy coat that they gave to us for our Obon event this year. The hoppy coat, of course, is one of those traditional garments that people wear during the Obon. And with that, we're now going to turn it over to Karen Suyama, who will teach you everything you need to know about putting on a yukata and what accessories you need to complete your Obon outfit.
Thanks, Garrett. In this picture, we see some of the typical garments worn during the summer Obon season. It includes tabi, or foot coverings for your feet, though some dancers may choose to be barefoot and wear getas, a 2-piece white undergarment, and what's shown is a top and a bottom skirt, a few ties and soft belts, the orange yukata, and the green obi. Next is a picture of a hoppy coat, front and back, that is usually worn over comfortable clothing like what you saw Garrett wearing today. I also wish to thank NBC Bay Area for providing this happy coat that was designed for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The next shot shows the typical Obon gear that is used for the dances. Along the top, you'll see an uchiwa, or round fan, from the Tokyo Olympics, thanks again to NBC Bay Area. The top one is a folding fan, or sensu. Under that are some bamboo kachi-kachi, and the red and blue ones mostly used by children that are sometimes called castanets. The bottom cloth tenugui or towel is used open or folded while dancing. This tenugui was designed for the 9 Bay District temples of the Buddhist Churches of America. In this segment, you will see me getting dressed by Mitsuko Maruyama to show how easy it is to put on a yukata. Here we see the yukata is slipped on and then adjusted so the length of the yukata is at ankle level. First, take the right side over your left hip and lift it slightly, and then cross the left side over your right hip, again lifting it slightly. A yukata usually comes in one size, is long, and can be worn by a person of average height. Using a tie, place it just above your hip bones to keep the yukata in place. The yukata is an unlined summer kimono, usually made of cotton or synthetic fabric, and worn in casual settings such as an Obon Festival. Now you see her using her hands to fold over the extra fabric over the tie to hide it. Then you can adjust the collar in the front and use a second tie to secure the yukata in place. Make sure the back seam is centered and the collar is straight. Next, we will tie the obi, which is usually about 12 feet long, and will go around 2 times and end with a beautiful bow tied in the back.
Thank you, Karen. So now that you're dressed and ready to go, let's do a little bit of dancing. And if you're like me and you do this kind of weird chicken dance, you can just follow along with the instructors. So let me turn it back to Karen Suyama, our head Obon instructor, who will take us into our first dance.
Gassho Ondo. This is a modern folk song which was written for our main temple, Nishihonganji, in Kyoto. The dancers use their hands to tell us the importance of placing our hands together in gassho and expresses our gratitude and interconnectedness with one another.
親鸞様の宮としたい生きる人生朗らかに心の底からありがたやいつも笑顔の皆様輝く世界の音楽でみんな輪になる手を合わす松虫鈴虫手足も軽く踊る笑顔に夢がある幸せかみしめ超えたからかに響く念仏鐘の音も輝く世界の音楽でみんな輪になる手を合わす東西南北行き交う人に皆の呼ぶ声慈悲の声聞いてください御仏様の浄土まことののりの道輝く世界の音楽でみんな輪になる手を合わす
So this is our first live question and answer session. So if you have any Obon-related questions, I have with me our resident minister, Reverend Miyaji.
Hello.
As well as our head dance instructor, Karen Suyama.
Hi.
Karen, you look very nice.
Thank you.
Sensei, you look very sensei-like.
Thank you very much.
So if anybody has any Obon-related questions, again, this is the first of 2 live sessions. So if you can't think of any questions now, you'll always have a second opportunity later on in the program to ask any of your Obon-related questions. So let me ask Kyle, who's been monitoring our account to see whether we had any questions.
Yes, we have our first question. This one is for Reverend Miyaji. What is the significance of flowers and the candle in the Obutsudan?
Very good question. So, for those of you who may not have heard, the question is about the Obutsudan. And the question is with the Obutsudan, you will often see flowers and a candle displayed on the Obutsudan. And the question for Sensei is, what is the significance of the flower and what is the significance of the candle?
Great. Well, thank you very much. I get this question often. We'll start with the flowers here. There's 2 things that the flowers represent. One is impermanence, as it talks about the fragility of life, and that when the flowers wither away, that's how it represents the impermanence of all life. The second point that it represents is that of compassion. And that's in contrast to the light over here to the opposite end. And the light, as in most religions, light offers a path that gives us clarity. And so for us, light is supposed to represent wisdom. And so in Buddhism, wisdom and compassion are the 2 tenets of Buddhism. And so that is depicted here with the candle and the flower.
Thank you very much, Sensei. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, we have a question. Are the Obon dances different here versus in Japan?
Very good question. So the question, and I'm going to direct this question to Karen, our head Obon instructor, is, are Obon dances here in the United States different than Obon dances in Japan? And actually, both of you may know the answer to this question. Karen?
Thanks, Garrett. The dances are a little bit different in both places. The United States actually watches what Japan does, and so sometimes we copy their dances, but we also choreograph our own here.
Great. So I know that among the dances I've seen people dance at our SACBC Obon is like the Pokemon dance, which seems to be kind of a new one, but would seem to be a direct import from Japan.
Yes. Absolutely. They like their anime there, their manga, and so they created a couple of dances using some of those songs. So it was fun to do. We taught everybody how to dance the Pokemon dance.
That is a fun dance.
Add on to that too as well. Yeah, just a couple things to add on to that. One thing is that I've also noticed that there's regional differences between, like, let's say the Northwest District, Southern District, and the Bay Area. The people who dance the same song and similar dance movements, but there are slightly different kind of regional differences, and that's totally fine too. And then the other thing about Obon is that the dancing, getting out there and dancing, is very important. That is to represent our joy in expressing our commemorating the memory of our relatives and those who have passed before us. And so dancing is the important aspect of it, getting out there and dancing. Just like I think it's the Gap Band, get your back up off the wall, dance, come on, just like that. That's the important part of Obon dancing.
Thank you, Sensei. That actually makes me feel a lot better because I am a terrible dancer. And so folks have told me, it doesn't matter, Garrett, how badly you dance, just go out there and dance and have a good time, which seems to be the meaning of Obon, which is great. Do we have one more question?
Yes, we have another question for Karen. Do the colors of the kimono matter?
Okay. So this is another great question, and actually, it sounds like it's really kind of two parts. The first is this is a question directed to Karen, and the question is there a difference between yukata and kimono? We've all heard of the term kimono. Some of us have also heard the term yukata. And is there a difference between the kinds of colors that that women would wear when wearing a yukata or a kimono?
The yukata is an unlined kimono that's usually worn in the summertime for things like the Obon festivals. And the colors on the yukatas are very bright and summery and light. The kimonos, usually made of silk, do reflect the seasons in Japan. So you can have more subtle colors in the wintertime or more pastel colors in the springtime. So they do have different seasons and colors that they use.
Great. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, everyone, for your questions. Like I said, this is the first of 2 live question and answer sessions we'll have during tonight's program. So if you have other questions you'd like to ask Sensei or other questions you'd like to ask Karen, please feel free to post those questions, and we'll get to those questions later on in the program. So with that, we'll return to our program.
Minasan, konnichiwa. My name is Chef Miyaji. This is my assistant. Chef 何て言うんだっけ？ロイスです。今日はですね、関西風焼きうどんを作ります。関西。Please remember、関西はジャパンのオリジナルキャピタル。OK？ オリジナルキャピタル。関西 means West Japan。奈良、大阪、京都。OK？ Not 東京。東京は今、オリンピック happening。For us, true Japanese don't care. OK? Not happening in 関西 Not happening. OK? 次は焼きうどんです。フライドヌードル。So easy to make. So easy, even he can make it. 続きましてですね、まずは、このオイル、OK? これを入れていきます。OK? はい、ちょっと待って。You lack discipline. まずはですね、この玉ねぎ、オニオン、OK? これを入れていきます。そしてマッシュルーム、OK? これも入れていきます。こんな感じです。Very good. OK? Very important. Vegetable that cook long time. Go fast. OK? Very good. こんな感じです。Yes. ここで、チキン or pork. OK? You put in. But 今日は today, not chicken or pork. OK? こんな感じです。はい、very good. OK。そしてですね、very important。みじん切りのガーリックです。OK? Diced garlic。very important。OK? これを入れていきます。はい。こんな感じです。very good。OK。そして、salt and pepper。OK? Very good. OK. I tell you, Japanese ダジャレ、Japanese dad joke. 皆さん、do you know いくら ?OK。いくらはいくら How much is いくら次はですね、how much は how much は how much はい、続きましてですね、こんな感じです。very good。OK。次はですね、ベジタブル、キャベジを入れています。そして、キャロット、OK？ キャロット入れていきます。 そしてついでにですね、もやし、ビーンスプラウト、OK？ こんな感じです。はい。ベリーグッド。ミックス、ミックス、ミックス。ミックス、ミックス、ミックス。ベリーグッド。ベリーグッド。はい、OK です。こんな感じですね。By the way、関西は West Japan、OK？The best in Japan、OK？ オリジナルキャピタル、OK？ はい。I tell you a joke、OK？ Knock knock。 Who's there? Let us. Let us who? Let us in. It's cold outside. 続きましてですね。はい。ラストは、このセサミオイルです。レディ？あ、そうだ。OK。No. I know. セサミオイル。OK？ ごま油。これを入れていきます。Just a little bit. OK? Too much, no good. OK? Just a little. OK? 次はヌードル。OK? 焼きうどん。うどんを入れていきます。こんな感じです。OK。全、very important。2つ入れます。とんかつソース、お好み焼きソース。とんかつソース、お好み焼きソース。はい、これ入れていきます。おろ、OK? Only とんかつソース、no stick to sauce。ヌードルね。Only お好み焼きソース、too sweet, no good。OK? Half and half, make food, just like me and wife。OK? Half and half, make food。OK? Whole。OK? Very important。こんな感じです。混ぜていきます。ミックス、ミックス。ミックス、ミックス。ちょっと薄そうな感じです。OK? Little, need more sauce。OK? こんな感じです。入れていきます。はい。Very good。おいしそう。おいしそう。Very good。焼きうどんはですね、very easy, but very hard. Just like Buddhism。OK? Very easy, but very hard。はい。こんな感じです。はい。もう少し入れていきましょう。もう少し入れる。OK。Very good。おー、いい感じです。いい感じです。はい。おー、スメル。Very good。OK。これで出来上がりました。はい。ではですね、入れていきましょう。はい、こんな感じです。そしてですね、最後はガーニッシュを入れていきます。OK？ グリーンオニオン、セサミシード、そしてかつお節。かつお節。OK？ ダンシングフレーク。かつお節はですね、英語ではボニートフレーク。Sounds disgusting。 OK？ ジャパニーズはかつお節。トラディショナルジャパニーズフード。Very important。 OK？ Please remember。 はい、どうぞ試してみてください。ベリーグッド。これは関西スタイル、ウエストジャパン焼きうどんです。 OK？ ベリーグッド。
おいしい。
Oh, very good. はいはい。
Chef, where is this from? Where did you learn how to make this?
I learned this in 東京。はい、皆さんどうもありがとうございました。
Thank you, Sensei, and thank you, Royce, for that demonstration on that delicious Yaki udon. So let's turn it back to dancing for our next two dances, led by our head instructor, Karen Suyama. Take it away, Karen.
Shiawase Samba. Shiawase means happiness. The music and the beat will get you moving and make you want to join the circle and dance the samba with us. Ichitasuichi literally means 1 + 1. We will use our kachi-kachi or castanets for this dance.
Okay, and we're back for our second live question and answer session. Any questions, Kyle?
Yes, there was a question about the flower in Karen's hair. Is there any meaning which side you wear the flower on, right or left? I heard something about single or married.
Okay, so for those of you who didn't hear that question, the question is for Karen, and the question concerns the flower in Karen's hair. And the question is there any significance on which side you place the flower, left or right, as well as, what was the other part of it?
Single or married.
Oh, and whether it means that you're single or married. Karen?
I think that's a Hawaiian custom to wear the flower in your hair. The right side would be unmarried and the left side would be married, which I am. Normally, the ornaments in your hair are not necessarily a flower. Sometimes they're ribbons and sometimes they're something called a kanzashi, which is the Japanese ornaments for your hair. And I'd like to say most of the time they're worn on the right side. I don't know if there's a significance to that, but I'm wearing my flower on the left side tonight because this is the side that's with the camera.
Thank you, Karen. So, for all of you single guys out there, Karen is off limits. Okay. Any other questions, Kyle?
Yes, what kind of things count as offerings to the Buddha?
Good question. So the question is for Sensei, and the question is, what kind of offerings can you give to the Buddha? Sensei?
Great. Well, thanks for asking that question. Well, normally, I don't know if you can catch this on the camera, but we have what's called the obukbang, which is the rice offering. And usually what happens with the rice offering is that when you make a batch of rice, the first scoop of rice should be an offering to the Buddha as a symbolic gesture of the Buddha eating with us and the Buddha eating first, okay? And so the other thing about the offerings is today I have apples up there, but anything from grapes to bananas, the seasonal fruits like persimmon in the autumn would be great. Nashi, Asian pear, would be great as well too. That's also something that you can also put as an offering to the Buddha as well. One important thing about the Obutsudan that I wanted to say is that it's important to kind of let's see, I lost my train of thought here. To make an offering to the Buddha with whatever that you've received. Let's say some guest came over and gave you some food from another country and they wanted you to have some. So you would receive that and then come to the Obutsudan and make that as an offering first. And then you could take it down and then eat it amongst yourself. That's a custom that has been kind of observed since the time of Japan, from way back in the day. And it's a custom that I would like to see kind of continue on today. If you received a scholarship or a diploma to a school, please present that to the Obutsudan, to the Buddha, to say that I have received this, but it's through the working of all the people who have supported me, my parents, my family, and my friends, and all of these things, and I'm presenting this to the Buddha as an offering. And so this is something that we can incorporate in our daily lifestyles to show that we are Buddhists and that we are proud Buddhists and that this is our identity as Buddhists. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sensei. Did we have any other questions? Okay, so before we start, we return to our program, just a couple of things. One, as I mentioned, this is an important fundraiser for the church, and if you'd like to make a donation to the church, there's a button at the bottom of your screen in which you can make a donation. So with that, why don't we return to our program?
Sawayaka Ondo. Sawayaka means refreshing. In the warm summertime, we wish for some cooler air. We wave the tenugui or towel to give us some cool breezes.
爽やかによいしょ爽やか爽やか爽やかに雨風嵐が荒れたこと心も体も強くなる命あるもの大事に育て分けて生きよう幸せを花の人生爽やかに歌も踊りも爽やかに爽やか爽やか爽やかに
Obon no Uta. We end our evening with Obon no Uta using the uchiwa or round fan. This song was choreographed by Reverend Yoshio Iwanaga, who brought Obon Odori to the United States. This was first danced in San Francisco in 1930. It is a joyous dance that brings us together with everyone, past and present.
That was wonderful. We'd now like to have a Hatsubon in memoriam for those who passed away from August of 2020 to present. For those of you who may not know what Hatsubon is the first yearly memorial service given to those who passed away and have gone to the Pure Land.
Thank you. So we are close to the end of our Obon program tonight. I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in for tonight's Obon program. I'd also like to thank everyone who submitted comments. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of your questions. Would also like to thank those of everyone who purchased bento meals tonight, as well as our 2021 Obon gear. Before we officially close, I'd like to end with Gasho by Sensei. Sensei?
Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Karen. Before we officially end, I do have a few people I want to thank. First off, I'd like to thank the dancers who you saw in the video, and they are Grace Jo, Mitsuko Maruyama, Sandy Maruyama, Josie Matsubayashi, Kaori Miyaji, Kristen Romero, and Terry Souza. Our bento crew tonight who made the wonderful meals, Victoria Consul, Sachi Abe, Masako Mori, Christina Young, Kathy Velasco, Annie Wu, Don Uriu, Stephen Uriu, and Nolan Mori. Our planning committee, Ken Suyama, Karen Suyama, Reverend Miyaji, John Arai, and Kyle Yamasaki. Publicity, Chance Tokubo. Our film production and editing crew, Ryan Mori and Gerald Lee. And finally, I would like just to give a special thank you to someone who you really haven't seen much on screen. Royce, can you come on up? Come on up. So I have to say, we couldn't have done any of this without Royce. Royce really was instrumental in getting us all together and putting together this event for everyone. So, hey, big round of applause to Royce. Thank you so much. And thanks, everyone. We wish you all a terrific rest of the summer, and thank you for joining us during our 2021